Hey guys. Hey, before we get into this video, I just want to give another shout out and say thank you to my friends over at Harley-Davidson of Quantico for helping me locate and get on a road glide to do a real, test over several days on it. And not just that, but also, to Greg and Matt for hanging with me as I go through my process and understanding how I think through things. And my brother Arlie out there, who is very quick to help me figure out what I need to do to make things happen on a bike. You guys are the best. Harley-Davidson of Quantico. Good morning, good morning. I am back on my absolutely beautiful 2019 Fat Bob 114, baby. Yeah, and I'm taking the long way to work this morning because, well, one, I'm back on my Fat Bob, and I just want to enjoy the ride a little bit. And I also want to kind of wrap up this discussion we've been having about my test ride on that 2019 road glide, and kind of talk about, I don't know, I guess what's going in my head, and a little bit about why I'm even considering getting off this beautiful bike and climbing on a road glide to begin with. So 2022 is going to be one of those pivotal years in my life where a lot of change is going to happen. I have a lot of stuff planned. Kind of a transition period for me in this thing we call life, and part of what I guess is going to come along with that change is me having an opportunity to ride more each and every year, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I started working the week after I turned 15 years old. I actually lied about my age so I could get a job. And I've been working ever since, except for a very brief period of just, I don't know, I think it was like maybe 3 months or so when I came back to the U.S. after getting out of the Army, and, it took me about, I don't know, a couple months to find a job. So other than that, I've been working steady since the week after I turned 15, and for a huge chunk of that time, I actually had more than one job, or more than one profession. I had my civilian job. I was also in the Army Reserves for a long time, and I was an adjunct faculty member on a leadership school up in Pennsylvania. Plus, I was doing consulting work. That went on for a lot of years, and yeah, that was a lot of work. And then, of course, eventually I started my own company, and that's more than a full-time job. So I'm turning 61 in 2022, and people have been asking me for a lot of years, dude, when the hell are you going to slow down? This is it, 2022. So it's time for me to really double down on focusing on just celebrating life and enjoying each and every day, and focusing on me and Miss Percy and the family and my friends, and just pretty much making that my job. And part of what I want to do, as I transition here into that phase, is to travel a lot more than what I'm doing today. I do get out on the bike a bit, but usually, although the trips that I've had are always fun, especially the stuff that I've gone on with Volts, we still have, a schedule that we have to adhere to. I'm going to turn around here because the ride's kind of getting a little ugly up here. Go back through those trees again. Yeah, I mean, there's, you're still on a schedule, and I have to be back at a certain day or whatever. So I just, what I really want to do is maybe plan about, I don't know, 4 trips or so a year. One a fairly decent one, and then hit some rallies, and of course meet up with my buddies over at the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast. Better listen to the podcast if you haven't already done it. 5 Dirty Bikers. That's number 5 spelled out. But you know, we got to meet up every year that we do, and I kind of want to go around and visit them as well. So with that, you know, I've got to face the fact that as I get older, and if I'm looking at chewing up a lot of miles, more miles than I already have. I mean, I've got 25,000 miles on my Fat Bob in 2.5 years, and I'm gonna do more than that over the next couple 3 years. Then I need to start thinking about changing up the bike. Although I know that that Sophie would do good on pretty much everything. The one thing I am kind of concerned about, I guess, with the Fat Bob is in 2023 I am planning on doing the lower 48. Not in 10 days. What I really want to do is take 4 to 6 weeks, travel the country. I want to stop in and visit friends and family that I haven't seen in a while, and give them a hug and say, hey, thanks for being part of this journey of mine, and for what, you know, you contributed to my life, and let them know I love them and I'm thinking about them and I really appreciate them. And you know, just, I guess, make it kind of like a victory lap right around the US. I know the Fat Bob would be able to do that. I just, you know, don't know that I would be able to, I guess, do it as comfortably or as enjoyably on a Fat Bob as I could on something like a road glide. You know, I mean, the road glide's made for that type of journey and for the type of travel that I'm thinking about doing. So that's why I'm looking at it. To be honest with you, I'm kind of right there. I'm not going to make a final decision until I see the 2022 bikes come out, but I'm right there. And I think the only thing I'm really struggling with now is this attachment, this emotional attachment I have to my Fat Bob. It's absolutely crazy, and you don't get it if you don't ride. You absolutely probably have no way of understanding this, but the bond that you form with your bike is deep. I mean, it is really, really deep. It's crazy. And that's kind of what I'm struggling with, you know, right now, because the Fat Bob and I mean, this bike was, I mean, it had significant impact on my life. I mean, significant impact on my life. I think about things in a different way than I did before I got this bike. I enjoy, and I never thought that I would be one of these people to say this, because I never got into it before when I was riding, but I enjoy being on the road on this bike. Actually, any motorcycle. I love it, but it's because of this Fat Bob that my eyes were opened to that new passion, that new love that, you know, that came into my life with traveling on a motorcycle. So, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to think about the fact that I might be saying goodbye to my 2019 Fat Bob. I mean, Sophie and Star and I have had amazing adventures on this bike. Absolutely amazing adventures. I mean, life-changing adventures. I rode out to South Dakota with PJ on this on this Fat Bob. And trust me, that trip would have been a lot more enjoyable on the Road Glide, I think, after riding that Road Glide for a while. But we, you know, we had just created a lot of memories together. And I was talking to my buddy KidMoto22 last night, and he actually had something pretty profound that he said to me that made me think, because we were talking about the fact that, you know, in an ideal world, if I had the garage space, I would keep the Fat Bob 100% and just get a Road Glide. That way I would have a bike for every occasion that I wanted to go out riding. But KidMoto told me, he said the way he looks at it, motorcycles are tools to create memories or to help create memories. They're not the caretaker of those memories. And I think that's pretty profound. I mean, when you think about it, and that really puts things into, I think, a very, very different perspective. So I know a lot of you guys out there are here on the channel because of the Fat Bob, and I really appreciate all the support you guys have done, have given me, as Sophie and I have traveled all over the country pretty much on this Fat Bob. Well, not all over the country, but we've covered a pretty good chunk of it. And I hope that if I do pull that trigger, and if I do move on to a Road Glide, that you're going to hang around and enjoy our adventures even more. I've got a lot of stuff planned, I think, for this transition period, as far as content for the channel, and you know what the channel is really going to kind of get back to focusing on as we move forward. So anyway, that's kind of where I am. That's why I'm looking at doing this. Like I said, I'm kind of right there. We'll take a look at the 2022s. We'll see what they have to offer, and then I'm going to make a decision. And at that point, I'm going to begin planning for the next phase of my life as it pertains to riding, traveling on a bike, the trips that I have planned that I want to get out of the way the first couple of years. And you know, and it's going to be epic. It doesn't matter which bike I'm on. The journey over the next few years is going to be epic. And I hope that you guys stay around and come along with us. Enjoy the ride. Have a great week, guys. Peace.